In this video, I'm going to teach you the secrets to the FAA knowledge test. What's happening, M0A Nation? Jason Schappert here, M0A Online Ground School. Who has an FAA written test coming up? I imagine if you're watching this video, maybe you just wanted to check it out, but I'd imagine you probably have an FAA written test coming up. First off, you know our ground school has you covered, M0Atrial.com. We are giving away the new DJI Avata drone. If you didn't hear that last week as well, M0Acontest.com. If you want to win the new Avata FPV drone from DJI, we're giving that away as well. Details down below, and I'm sure Coach will make that beautiful M0Acontest.com link appear just like that, magically. So let's talk about this knowledge test, or as we commonly call it, the written test, or even so, just the written. If you ever met me in person, one of the first questions I'll ask people, and they say, oh, I'm getting close to my check ride, and I always will ask you this: did you get the FAA written test done? And hopefully the answer is yes. If not, well, I politely remind them, you're really not getting ready for your check ride then. You need to be getting ready for your written test. I say that because I was that student. I had that monkey on my back where I thought I was ready for my check ride, but I hadn't even done my written test yet. This just slows down the whole process, right? So students who wait until the very end, they literally have to put their flight training on hold to stop and study to pass the written test. This wastes time, this wastes money, and you have to go back and repeat flight lessons, then preparing for the practical, preparing for the check ride. So here's some secrets to the FAA written test. The FAA no longer releases all current test questions. So let me tell you the first big secret. Rote memorization does not work. Rote memorization, better said, does not lead to success. It's called a knowledge test. Knowledge test is in the name. You must possess the knowledge, not just memorize test bank questions and answers. The fact that you remember you get a gouge that says, hey, when you see blue, the answer is 23, will not save you when the propeller stops spinning in front of you and you need to make the best landing and the best decision of your life. Memorizing ABC does not save your life. We're in the business of saving lives and creating that real world prep. So practice questions like the ones you'll run into inside the online ground school are going to be similar. We've actually written them, but they're not going to be exact. We use them to help you understand the concepts involved so you can answer the questions that may be asked that are just similar. Little moment on my soapbox here. I'm so proud of our online ground school members. Online ground school members, where are you at? Did you know online ground school members of M0A score 6 points higher on their FAA knowledge tests when compared with the national average? Pretty cool stuff. So consider M0Atrial.com when it comes time to prep. Now, another big tip and big secret here is I need you to take the time to read each question carefully. I would love to meet some of these individuals that write FAA test questions because they are so good at writing tricky questions. If you've ever taken one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't answer too quickly because you may know the answer but get it wrong because you just answered too quickly. Let me give you two examples real quick. You ready? Here's two of my favorite trick questions from the private pilot database. To set the high intensity lights on medium intensity, the pilot should click the microphone. How many clicks? 5 clicks is the answer. Did you see the question though? To set the high intensity lights on medium intensity. It's a word play that it's correct, but your mind could see the word high, you go, oh, that's 7 clicks. And let me tell you something. 7 clicks would have been an ABC option in there. Here's another one. You ready? In the northern hemisphere, an airplane is accelerated or decelerated. The magnetic compass will normally indicate, is it turn momentarily, correctly when on north or south heading, or a turn towards the south? Well, you spend all this time learning UNOs and ANDs and all these cool little acronyms, but we slow down and read the question and look at the best possible option. B's the best option. It'll be correct when on a north or south heading because it's ANDs, accelerate north, decelerate south. That really only applies on an easterly or westerly heading. You can't just use rote memorization. You got to truly know this stuff. Here's another huge tip that gets overlooked. Study the knowledge test supplement. This sounds counterintuitive, right? What do you mean look at the figures? Use this as a resource to find answers, and not necessarily on questions that tell you to look at a certain figure. Many answers are actually found on the legends. You know, on your paper sectional charts, you have that beautiful legend of this is D airspace, this is B airspace, it looks like this, a MOA is this, restricted is this. That legend, that key, is a figure in your written test supplement. You have that in front of you. It's like an open book test in a way. Use that. Legends for runway and taxi information, it's all there. Another big tip, and so often overlooked. You ready? This is a tough one. Understand and use your E6B. I like a manual E6B. Maybe that's the old school romantic in me. And plotter as well, but you can bring certain approved electronic E6Bs with you. You're going to need it. You're going to need to know how to calculate density altitude. You're going to need to know the formulas for a magnetic heading. You need to also understand this. The scale on the maps, on the supplement that they give you, will not match the scale on your plotter, or if there's one on your E6B. In fact, each is different due to how they printed it with zoom levels and everything else. On the edge of the figure, you'll see there's actually a scale. I would literally take a piece of paper and I would make the scale for each one and measure that way. So do it that way. Here's another tip for our online ground school members. I do not give a written test endorsement until an online ground school member of ours can consistently earn a 90% or higher, preferably, on practice exams. If you're an online ground school member of ours, I hold you to the highest standards. You're not going to see a signature from Jason until you get above a 90% on a final practice exam. You got to realize the stress of taking the real test, the real exam, it often leads to lower scores. We're in the business of striving for mastery, not just passing. Here's another forget out of the box idea. There's not even a box anymore. We're so far outside of it. What do you do the night before? I want you to get a good night's rest. I want you to eat something before arriving at the test. Try to minimize coffee so you're not super antsy and everything else. Healthy dinner, no alcohol, get a good night's rest, whatever that actually needs to be. And then don't stress. You put in the hard work to pass. You've been endorsed. You got to be confident, right? There's a big difference between cocky and confident. I need you kind of somewhere in between there. I'm sorry, big difference between cocky and lack of confidence. I need you in between is where I actually need you to be. Arrive early, by the way. I don't want you rushing. That produces anxiety and cortisol and stress and everything you don't want to have going into a test. Do you have your proper identification, your ID with you? The testing center is going to give you scratch paper and pencils and the supplement, but could you write down any formulas you have memorized on that scratch paper as soon as you get in and start that test so they're fresh in your mind? Save the complicated questions for the end of your test. Every question is worth the same amount of points. When in doubt, use an educated guess. Usually one answer is obviously wrong. It's the wrong format, it's the wrong scale. They're looking for an answer in Fahrenheit and there's one in Celsius is what I mean. Get rid of that one. Now I got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. And err on the side of caution. The safest or conservative answer, it's usually the correct one in these scenario-based type questions. You're able to mark questions, by the way, that you're not sure about, so you go back later for review. You know, one thing we've done inside the Emsray Online Ground School is we recreated what that PSI computer, and PSI is the testing center you take the test at, what it actually looks like. So you're testing, you're doing your practice tests in an environment that looks like the real one. The kind of little calculator pops up. You can mark questions, all that, exactly how the real testing center works. Check all that out, M0ATrial.com. Don't forget about the DJI Avata drone we're giving away as well, M0AContest.com. And then lastly, you know the new blueprint is out there as well, privatepilotblueprint.com. Everything I wish someone would have told me before I started my flight training. A great gift to somebody, a mentee of yours, whatever that may be, or maybe for yourself as well. Thank you so much. Again, like last week's video, I went way longer than I anticipated. There's just so much to share. I have such a passion for this topic. Sorry to be verbose at times. My goal is always to make safer, smarter pilots. What are some of your best FAA written test, FAA knowledge test secrets and tips for those that aspire to walk in your shoes one day? Let me know in the comments down below. Have a blessed, abundant, outstanding rest of your day. Go be a light out there. We're in a crazy, crazy dark world. Go be a light. And most importantly, remember that a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you.